The stars looked different from the observation deck of the Endurance. Captain Olivia Martinez stood with her hands clasped behind her back, watching as the massive alien ship approached. After decades of wondering if humans were alone in the universe, they finally had their answer. "Captain, they're hailing us again," said Lieutenant Daniel Wright from his station. His voice was steady, but Olivia could hear the tension beneath it. "Put them through," she said. The view screen flickered to life. The alien that appeared had smooth, silvery skin that seemed to shimmer. Its 4 eyes blinked in an odd pattern, and when it spoke, its mouth barely moved. "Greetings again, human vessel. We are prepared to escort you to the Galactic Council station." Olivia nodded. "Thank you, Ambassador Zechtul. We're honored by your welcome." The alien made a gesture that might have been dismissive. "It is protocol. Your species is unexpected." The communication ended abruptly. Olivia turned to her crew. "Well, that went about as well as our previous conversations. Everyone remember the mission. We represent all of Earth now." Kyle Bennett, the communications officer, shook his head. "They don't seem very impressed with us, Captain." "We haven't given them reason to be impressed yet," Olivia replied. "But we will." 3 days later, the Endurance docked at a massive space station unlike anything humans had ever built. The meeting with the Galactic Council would begin in hours. Olivia sat with her senior staff, reviewing what they knew about the aliens. Most important were the Oxylorians, like Ambassador Zechtul. They had discovered Earth and made first contact. "Their biology is fascinating," said Sofia Rodriguez, the medical officer. "From the data they shared, Oxylorians live for about 500 Earth years. Their hearts beat only 10 times per minute. Their entire metabolism is incredibly slow. That explains a lot about their attitude," said Eric Summers, head of security. "They think and move like they have all the time in the world." "They do, compared to us," Daniel said. "I've been analyzing their brain patterns. They process information at a much slower rate than humans. What takes us seconds to understand might take them minutes or hours." Maya Patel, the ship's engineer, looked up from her tablet. "But they built all this technology. They must be doing something right." "Time," Olivia said. "They have time. Generations of time that we don't have." The meeting with the Galactic Council was not what they expected. 12 different alien species sat in a huge circular chamber. The humans were given small seats at a low table, like children at the adults' dinner party. Ambassador Zechtul addressed the council. "These are the humans. Their average lifespan is less than 100 cycles. They evolved on a high-gravity world with high oxygen content. They are," he paused, "ephemeral beings." Murmurs spread through the chamber. Olivia felt her face grow hot, but she maintained her composure. An ancient-looking alien with skin like bark spoke next. "How do they accomplish anything of value in such brief lives?" Another added, "Can they even develop meaningful cultural achievements?" Olivia stood up, despite protocol. "We may live shorter lives by your standards, but we have built civilizations, created art, developed technology, and explored our solar system. Humans don't waste time." The council seemed amused by her outburst. Zechtul made a soothing gesture with his 6-fingered hand. "Please, Captain. No one questions that humans are interesting, but understand that species with true longevity naturally take leadership positions in galactic affairs. Your kind will be welcomed as observers." Daniel leaned close to Olivia. "Captain, I'm getting strange readings from their biology during this conversation. Their heart rates increased when you spoke. I think we surprised them." Olivia nodded slightly. "Then we'll keep surprising them." As they left the chamber, Kyle whispered, "Observer status. They're treating us like children." "They think we're mayflies," Olivia replied. "Let them. They don't understand human endurance yet, but they will." 6 months passed since the first meeting with the Galactic Council. The crew of the Endurance learned the customs of various alien species and shared human culture in return, but their status never improved. They remained observers, allowed to watch but not participate in important decisions. Captain Olivia Martinez tried to hide her frustration during the weekly call with Earth Command. "They still see us as children," she explained to the generals on the screen. "We've shown them our technology, our art, our history. Nothing impresses them." "Then perhaps a different approach is needed," said General Harris. "We've been trying to show them our achievements. Maybe we need to show them who we are." The next day, Ambassador Zechtel requested a meeting with Captain Martinez. His silver skin reflected the lights of the conference room as he entered with two other aliens, a tall Dravian with tentacle-like limbs and a squat Pellerin whose skin changed colors with its mood. "Captain, the Council has been discussing your species," Zechtel said slowly. "We have a proposition." Olivia gestured to the seats. "Please, share your thoughts." "There is a tradition," the ambassador continued, "for evaluating new species, a series of trials called the Crucible. It would allow humans to demonstrate their qualities." The Pellerin's skin turned a bright yellow. "It is a great honor. Few species are invited." Olivia leaned forward. "What kind of trials?" "Tests of endurance, intelligence, adaptability," Zechtel explained. "If humans perform well, your status in the galactic community would be reconsidered." Later that day, Olivia gathered her senior staff to discuss the invitation. "It's clearly a test," said Kyle Bennett, crossing his arms. "They expect us to fail." Maya Patel nodded in agreement. "The trials will probably favor species with long lives and slow metabolisms. Or it could be exactly what we need," Daniel Wright countered. "I've been studying the Tylorians. They tire easily. Their muscles aren't built for prolonged activity." Sophia Rodriguez pulled up data on her tablet. Daniel's right. "Their biology is efficient but lacks our capacity for extended exertion. Humans evolved as persistence hunters. We can outlast almost any animal on Earth. So we might have an advantage," Olivia said thoughtfully. "If the trials involve physical endurance, yes," Sophia confirmed. "But they'll likely include mental challenges too. And the aliens have centuries of knowledge." Eric Summers, who had been quiet until now, spoke up. "Then we prepare for both. We've been underestimated our entire history. People said humans would never fly, never reach space, never build artificial intelligence. We did all that in a blink of cosmic time." The next morning, Olivia informed Ambassador Zechtel that humans accepted the challenge. The alien seemed surprised by their quick decision. "The Crucible begins in 50 days, he said. "Most species need years to prepare." "Humans work well under pressure," Olivia replied with a smile. Preparation was intense. The crew converted Cargo Bay 3 into a training facility. Maya designed specialized equipment based on what they knew about the competition. Daniel analyzed every piece of alien data for clues about the challenges. Sophia created training routines that pushed the human team to their limits. "Our advantage isn't just physical," she explained as they ran laps around the bay. "It's psychological. Humans can push through pain that would stop other species." Kyle struggled the most with training. One evening, Olivia found him alone in the observation deck. "I'm not cut out for this," he admitted. "I'm a communications officer, not an athlete." "The Crucible isn't just about physical strength," Olivia said. "It's about showing them who humans are. All humans. We endure because we have to. Because our lives are short and we make every moment count." Kyle looked out at the stars. "They think we're inferior because we don't live for centuries. Then let's show them what humans can do in the time we have," Olivia replied. "We may live fast, but we burn bright." When the day came to register for the Crucible, 20 crew members volunteered. As they stood before the council to announce their participation, murmurs spread through the chamber. "So few?" asked a council member. "All we need," Olivia answered confidently. The aliens didn't understand her smile. They would soon enough. The Crucible began with a ceremony that lasted 12 hours. The humans stood alongside beings from 17 other species as ancient rules were recited. Captain Olivia Martins noticed her crew shifting on their feet after the first 4 hours. The other species barely moved. "Stay strong," she whispered. "This is part of the test." Finally, the first challenge was announced. A race through an artificial environment with changing gravity and atmosphere. Designed to test adaptability. Daniel Wright muttered as they prepared. "The Xylorians don't handle rapid changes well." The humans didn't win the race. They came in 5th, behind species with wings or multiple legs. But they weren't last, and that surprised everyone. The Xylorians finished 13th, their silver bodies moving slowly through the course. "Not bad for bipeds from a backwater planet," Eric Summers said as they rested afterward. The second event tested knowledge and problem-solving. Teams had to repair complex alien technology while answering questions about galactic history. The humans struggled with the history but excelled at the repairs. Maya Patel's engineering skills impressed even the council members. They finished 3rd. "We're holding our own," Olivia told her crew that night. But the real endurance tests are coming. The 3rd day brought the first true challenge, a simulated disaster response. Teams entered a massive chamber designed to mimic a space station suffering multiple system failures. The goal was to keep the station functioning for as long as possible. "This is where we show them," Sofia Rodriguez said as they entered the chamber. "This is about stamina and determination." At first, the aliens moved quickly, solving problems faster than the humans. But 6 hours in, many began to slow. By hour 12, several teams had withdrawn, their members exhausted. The humans kept going. They organized shifts, allowing team members to rest briefly while others worked. They ate quick meals and kept moving. When Maya started to falter after 18 hours, Kyle Bennett took her place despite his own exhaustion. "I can do this," he insisted. "We all can." After 24 hours, only 5 teams remained. The Dravians worked methodically with their tentacle-like limbs, but they moved slower now. The Xelter, a crystalline species, maintained a steady pace but solved fewer problems. At hour 30, alarms blared across the entire station. This wasn't part of the simulation. A council member appeared on all screens. "The crucible is suspended. A real emergency has developed. An asteroid has struck civilian station Alpha 9. All participants are asked to assist if able." Teams rushed to transport ships. When they reached Alpha 9, they found a station in chaos. Part of the outer ring had been destroyed. Air leaked from multiple sections. Civilians from dozens of species were trapped or injured. The humans watched as the Tylorians and other long-lived species immediately began coordinating rescue efforts. They worked efficiently but carefully. "They're being too methodical," Eric said as they observed. "That section will decompress before they reach it." Olivia made a quick decision. "We split up. Maya, take a team to help with structural repairs. Sophia, medical assistance. Eric, focus on the high-risk rescues the others are moving too slowly on." The humans dove into the crisis. Eric led a team into a section that the Xylorians had deemed too dangerous. They rescued 16 civilians before the compartment decompressed. Maya worked with alien engineers to patch critical systems, her hands moving quickly while the others deliberated each step. Sophia treated injured aliens, moving from one to the next without rest. Hours passed. The long-lived species began to withdraw as fatigue set in. But the humans continued. They worked in shifts, allowing brief periods of rest, while maintaining constant effort. After 36 hours, Eric led another rescue mission, despite having barely slept. Olivia found him afterward, slumped against a wall. "You need to rest," she said. Eric looked up with tired eyes. "There's still people who need help." A Xylorian official overheard them. He stared at Eric, with all 4 of his eyes blinking rapidly. "Your species has been working continuously," the alien said, his voice showing rare emotion. "How is this possible?" Olivia helped Eric to his feet. This is what humans do. We endure. The Tylorian watched them walk away, then spoke into his communicator. Something had changed in how he viewed these short-lived beings. 3 days after the asteroid emergency, the crucible resumed. But something had changed. The humans noticed aliens watching them with new interest. Some even approached to ask questions about human physiology and rest patterns. "They're studying us now," Daniel said as the team prepared for the next event. "I've had 7 different species ask about our sleep cycles." Captain Olivia Martinez nodded. "Good. Let them learn." The next challenge was announced, a marathon event. Teams would cross varied terrain carrying essential supplies. The distance was enormous, nearly 200 kilometers. "This will take days," Kyle Bennett said, looking worried. Sofia Rodriguez checked their medical supplies. "The Xylorians and others will move slowly but steadily. They think they have the advantage in a long event." "They don't understand human marathons," Eric Summers said with a grin. "We evolved to run animals to exhaustion." The event began at dawn. Each team carried packs with water, food, and emergency equipment. The alien species set a comfortable pace, moving with the confidence of beings who knew they could maintain the same speed for days. The humans started faster, pulling ahead. By midday, they held a significant lead. "Shouldn't we pace ourselves more?" Kyle asked as they stopped briefly to drink water. "We're using a different strategy," Olivia explained. "We'll push hard, then rest, then push again. The others will keep the same slow pace without breaks." As night fell, the humans had covered nearly a third of the course. They set up a camp and slept for 4 hours while other teams continued through the darkness. By midday of the second day, several alien teams had caught and passed the humans, who were taking another short rest. "They think we're falling behind," Maya Patel said, watching a group of Dravians glide by. "Let them think that," Olivia replied. When they resumed, the humans increased their pace. They passed team after team as the afternoon progressed. Many aliens seemed surprised by the humans' renewed energy. A young Silurian observer followed alongside the course, recording data. Amber Johnson, the communications specialist, noticed him watching with fascination. "You seem interested in our approach," she said during a brief water break. "Your energy levels are confusing," the Tylorian admitted. "You deplete, then recover, then deplete again. Other species maintain constant output. Humans call it getting a second wind," Amber explained. "Sometimes when we think we're done, we discover we can do more." The Tylorian's 4 eyes blinked rapidly. "This is not logical." "It's very human," Amber said with a smile. By the 3rd day, many teams were struggling. The Pellerin team moved at half their starting speed. Even the Dravians showed signs of fatigue. But the humans kept their cycle of intense effort followed by brief recovery. On the final stretch, only 3 teams remained at the front. The humans, the Tselter, and a team of reptilian Vosk. The Tselter maintained their steady pace. The Vosk pushed hard, their scaled bodies glistening with exertion. "Now we show them what humans can really do," Olivia told her team as they approached the last 10 kilometers. The humans increased their pace again, pushing through the pain of exhausted muscles. The Vosk matched them briefly, then began to fall behind. The Tselter couldn't adapt to the new pace and also fell back. The humans crossed the finish line first, collapsing in exhaustion but triumphant. The council members watched in silence as medics checked the human team. "I don't understand," one council member said to Ambassador Zektul. "They were clearly at their limits, yet they increased their output." "We are beginning to realize," Zektul replied slowly, "that human limits may function differently than our own." That evening, Amber found the young Silurian observer again. He was reviewing his data with other aliens. "I want to understand this second wind," he said when he saw her. "And your team used something called runner's high. Many concepts in your physiology are unknown to us." Amber smiled. "Maybe we can exchange knowledge. I'd like to learn about Silurian meditation techniques." The observer agreed eagerly, and a new type of cultural exchange began. One focused not on how long species lived, but on how they experienced and endured their time. On the observation deck, Captain Martinez received a message. The council requested a special meeting with the human team. The message didn't explain why, but Olivia had a feeling things were about to change. The meeting with the council changed everything. The final phase of the Crucible would be the most challenging yet, a simulated deep space mission lasting 6 months. Teams would live in isolated habitats, solving problems and completing tasks while dealing with the stress of confinement. 6 months is nothing to species that live for centuries, Daniel Wright said as the crew prepared their habitat. For them, it's like a weekend trip. Captain Olivia Martinez watched her team work. But they're not used to isolation or stress the way humans are. We've been sending people to space for centuries. The simulation began with 10 teams from different species. Each habitat was identical. Limited space, limited resources, and a constant stream of challenges from the council. The first month went smoothly. The human team established routines, dividing tasks and maintaining regular exercise. They held movie nights and game competitions to keep spirits high. The Silurians don't understand why we watch fiction, Kyle Bennett said after receiving a confused message from their habitat. They asked why we waste time on stories about things that never happened. They have hundreds of years to experience real events, Sophia Rodriguez replied. We use stories to experience more than one lifetime could hold. By the 3rd month, signs of strain appeared in several habitats. The Vosk team reported conflicts among members. The Dravians requested additional medical supplies for stress-related ailments. The humans faced their own challenges. Maya Patel struggled with nightmares. Eric Summers became irritable and withdrawn. This is normal, Olivia assured the council during their weekly report. Humans have documented the psychological effects of isolation for generations. We have methods to address them. The team implemented practices developed during Earth's early space missions. They held regular group discussions. They rotated jobs to prevent boredom. They maintained strict sleep schedules and exercise routines. Mental health is part of endurance, Sophia explained to the observers monitoring their habitat. Pushing through isn't just physical. In the 4th month, Nathan Carter, the team's pilot, suggested combining human resilience techniques with alien wisdom. He had been studying Silurian meditation methods and believed they could help. Their approach to slow, deliberate thinking complements our quick adaptation, he explained. The team began daily meditation sessions using Nathan's hybrid approach. The results impressed the alien observers. The humans showed improved stress indicators and problem-solving abilities. Meanwhile, other habitats faced increasing difficulties. 2 teams withdrew from the competition, unable to continue. The Celter team entered a hibernation-like state to cope with stress, effectively pausing their participation. At the 5-month mark, the council introduced a new challenge. Habitats would experience simulated system failures requiring constant attention for 72 hours. They're testing our sleep deprivation responses, Daniel realized. Silurians can go weeks without sleep. Olivia organized the team into shifts. We won't try to match their biology. We'll use our human approach, teamwork and rotation. The humans worked in 4-hour shifts, always keeping 3 team members active while others slept briefly. They consumed emergency stimulants provided in their supplies and kept moving. By the end of the 72 hours, the human habitat was the only one still fully operational. The council members watched in fascination as the exhausted humans continued to function. How are they still effective? One council member asked Ambassador Zektul. They call it grit, Zektul replied. A concept we are only beginning to understand. After the system failure challenge, interest in human methods spread among the remaining competitors. The Dravian team requested information about human sleep cycles. The Pellerin team attempted to implement shift rotations like the humans used. They're learning from us now, Amber Johnson said during a meal. Not just about our biology, but our culture. Olivia nodded. Humans develop these techniques because our lives are short and our bodies fragile. We had to find ways to endure. As the simulation entered its final month, only 4 teams remained. The humans, Silurians, Dravians, and Pelorans, all showed signs of strain, but the humans maintained their performance levels, while other species struggled with declining efficiency. We're not just surviving this, Eric said during a team meeting. We're showing them a new way to think about endurance. The final challenge was approaching. The council announced it would be the most difficult test yet, requiring everything they had learned during the 6 months. The final challenge never came. Instead, alarms blared through all habitats simultaneously. The screens flickered on to show the council chamber in disarray. This is not a simulation, a Dravian council member announced. A neutron star in Sector 7 has become unstable. Predictions indicate collapse within 14 days. 3 inhabited systems must be evacuated immediately. Captain Olivia Martinez watched her crew's faces. After 6 months of simulations, this was suddenly real. Are we being asked to help? She questioned. All Crucible participants are requested to assist. The Dravian continued. Your simulation vessels are fully functional starships. Report to Central Command for assignments. Within hours, the human team received their orders. They would help coordinate the evacuation of the smallest system, Proxima Vental, with its population of nearly 50,000. We're being trusted with lives, Kyle Bennett said as they prepared for departure. Because we've proven ourselves, Olivia replied. Now we show them what humans do in a real crisis. The team reached Proxima Vental to find fear and confusion. The local officials, a species called Benteri with translucent skin that revealed their nervous systems, had begun evacuation procedures but were overwhelmed by the scale of the task. We have 8 days before radiation levels become dangerous, a Benteri leader explained. But our people are scattered across 7 settlements. Some refuse to leave their homes. Eric Summers immediately organized security teams to maintain order at spaceports. Sofia Rodriguez established medical stations to treat those affected by panic or existing conditions. Maya Patel worked with local engineers to increase transport ship capacity. Humans are efficient in emergencies, Ambassador Zektul observed as he visited the command center on the 3rd day. Your people have barely rested. We work in shifts, Olivia explained, and we're used to urgency. By the 5th day, most evacuation ships were running on schedule, but a new problem emerged. The neutron star's deterioration had accelerated. Scientists now predicted collapse in just 3 days. We need more ships, Dangle Wright said as they received the news. There's still 12,000 people waiting for transport. The council called an emergency meeting of all Crucible participants. The Silurians proposed abandoning one settlement and focusing resources on the others. The Dravians suggested a lottery system to determine who would be evacuated first. No, Olivia stated firmly, surprising the council with her directness. We don't leave anyone behind. Captain Martinez, a council member, said slowly, the physics are undeniable. There are not enough ships or time. Maya Patel stepped forward. I might have a solution. If we modify the cargo freighters to carry passengers and adjust their engine outputs, we could increase capacity by 30%. That modification would require constant monitoring. A Silurian engineer objected. The engines would need adjustment every 4 hours for the entire journey. Then we adjust them every 4 hours, Maya replied simply. Your engineers would need to work without rest for 3 days, the Silurian said, blinking all 4 eyes in surprise. So we will, Maya answered. For the next 72 hours, Maya led a team of human engineers working continuously in shifts. They modified 27 cargo vessels and monitored their engines throughout the evacuation flights. When one human became too exhausted to continue, another took their place. Meanwhile, Daniel worked with alien scientists to refine their predictions. He didn't leave the observatory for 36 hours, analyzing data and suggesting course corrections to avoid radiation waves. The concept of pulling an all-nighter is becoming legendary among us. A young Silurian scientist told him, offering a stimulant drink during his 38th hour awake. "It's just what we do," Daniel replied with a tired smile. "When there's no time, we make time." On the final day, as radiation levels rose, the last evacuation ships prepared to leave. One ship reported engine trouble that would delay departure by 6 hours, too late to escape the radiation. Without hesitation, Maya organized a repair team. They worked in the growing radiation, wearing protective suits that could only shield them for short periods. They rotated every 20 minutes, each taking turns in the dangerous area. "This is beyond endurance," Ambassador Zechtel said as he watched from the command center. "This is sacrifice. This is humanity," Olivia corrected him. "We know our lives are short. That's why every life matters to us." 2 weeks after the evacuation, the Galactic Council called a special session. The neutron star had collapsed, but thanks to the combined efforts of all species, no lives were lost. The Great Hall was filled with representatives from across the galaxy. The human team sat in a place of honor near the center. "The crucible has ended," announced the council leader, an ancient Dravian whose tentacles had faded to pale blue with age. Though not as we expected. Captain Olivia Martinez looked at her crew. They had all lost weight. Dark circles remained under their eyes. But they sat tall, proud of what they had accomplished. Traditionally, the crucible concludes with a ranking of species based on their performance. The council leader continued. "But this time, we face a unique situation. The emergency became the final test, one that revealed more than any planned challenge could." Ambassador Zechtel stepped forward. His silver skin seemed to shine brighter than before. "The Council has been reconsidering our understanding of what defines a species' value in our community," he said. "For too long, we equated longevity with worth. We believed that species with longer lifespans naturally contributed more." The humans exchanged glances. This was unexpected. "Humans have shown us a different measure," Zechtel continued. "Not how many years one lives, but what one accomplishes in those years. Not steady persistence over centuries, but passionate intensity that overcomes seemingly impossible odds." The council leader raised all 4 arms for silence as murmurs spread through the hall. "Therefore, the council has created a new classification, persistent life form. This designation recognizes species who exhibit exceptional endurance and determination relative to their lifespan." Olivia stood when asked to speak. "On behalf of humanity, we are honored. But we didn't do anything special. We simply did what humans have always done. Face challenges together and refuse to give up." "That is precisely what makes your species remarkable," replied a Pellerin council member, her skin shifting through shades of blue and green. "What seems ordinary to you is extraordinary to us." After the ceremony, the council invited Captain Martinez to discuss humanity's new role in galactic affairs. No longer observers, humans would join committees on emergency response, medical research, and cultural exchange. "Your methods during the evacuation saved thousands," the council leader explained. "Many species now wish to learn these techniques." Olivia smiled. "Humans will gladly share our knowledge, and we have much to learn from you all as well." On their final night at the galactic station, the crew gathered on the observation deck. Through the massive windows, they could see the star systems stretching into the distance. "I still can't believe they thought we were inferior because we don't live for centuries," Kyle Bennett said, shaking his head. "Different perspectives," Sophia Rodriguez replied. "They measure time differently than we do." Maya Patil laughed. "They certainly understand human time better now." The Hylorian engineers were amazed when I explained the concept of an all-nighter. "And the power nap," added Nathan Carter. "They thought I was joking at first." Dangle Wright looked thoughtful. They lived so long that they never developed our urgency. They never had to. That's our gift, Olivia said. Because our lives are short, we make every moment count. We push boundaries. We take risks. We endure when logic says we should give up. Eric Summers raised his drink. To humanity's endurance. And to new understanding between species, Amber Johnson added. 1 month later, the Endurance departed for Earth. They carried with them new technologies, new friendships, and a new status for humanity in the galaxy. In her quarters, Sofia Rodriguez recorded a message for her family back home. She spoke of their adventures, the challenges they had faced, and the lessons they had learned. The aliens thought our short lives were a weakness, she said into the recorder. They pitied us for having only decades instead of centuries. But now they understand what we've always known. It's not about how long you live, but how fully you live each moment. It's not about avoiding pain or challenge, but about facing it and enduring. She looked out her viewport at the stars streaming by. They thought humans lived short lives, she continued, smiling. Now they know that in some ways, we live the fullest lives of all. Because we endure. Because we must. Because that's what humans do. As the Endurance jumped to faster-than-light speed, heading home to share their discoveries, Sophia ended her recording with words that would soon become famous throughout human space. We may burn briefly, but we burn bright enough to light the galaxy.